You've probably heard this story before. December 5, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers take off from Florida for a routine flight and just disappear. No wreckage, no survivors, nothing. Just a chilling legend that basically kicked off the whole mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. Well, today, we're going to talk about the real story of Flight 19. Let's get into it.
I mean, it's the question that's been hanging in the air for decades, right? How on earth do 5 military aircraft with 14 airmen just fall off the face of the planet in the middle of the afternoon? Was it some strange paranormal force out there in the triangle? Or is there a more down-to-earth explanation? We're going to separate the myth from the reality and figure out what truly happened.
All right, so to really get what happened, we have to start with the legend. You know, the spooky, inexplicable tale that's been told in books and TV shows for years and years.
And the legend is, well, it's pure nightmare fuel. The story goes that these 5 planes, flown by experienced pilots in perfectly clear weather, suddenly went haywire. Their compasses started spinning like crazy, the ocean turned this weird milky white color, and then just silence. And to make it even spookier, one of the massive rescue planes sent to find them also vanished without a trace. It's the perfect, terrifying mystery.
But here's the thing. The truth is a lot more complicated and honestly, a lot more human. So let's go back to the beginning, before all the myths and legends were born.
See, this wasn't some top-secret combat mission. It was about as routine as it gets. It was literally called Navigation Problem Number 1. I mean, how boring does that sound? For these pilots, this simple triangular flight path over the ocean should have been just another day at the office.
And for the first hour and a half, it was totally uneventful. But then, a voice crackled over the radio at ground control, and it was a voice filled with confusion. The mystery of Flight 19 was officially underway.
That's the flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. He's lost, and you can hear it in his voice. He thinks he's over the Florida Keys, which would mean he's super close to home. But he's not. He's way, way off course, and that one single mistake is about to become absolutely catastrophic.
Okay, check this out. Taylor's mistake was simple, but it was deadly. He believed he was over the Keys, so he made the logical choice to fly north to hit the Florida mainland. The problem? He was actually over the Bahamas. So every single mile he flew north wasn't taking him home. It was taking his entire flight deeper and deeper out into the vast, empty Atlantic Ocean. You can see on this timeline how a single error just spiraled out of control. For hours, they're flying in the completely wrong direction. At one point, another pilot in the flight actually figures it out. He suggests they fly west, towards the setting sun, a basic navigation trick that probably would have saved them all. But the flight leader, so sure that he's right, he just overrules him.
You see, the real truth of what happened isn't buried at the bottom of the ocean. It's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, right there in the final, desperate radio transmissions from the flight.
You can literally hear the panic starting to build in their voices. That confident flight leader from the beginning is gone. Now he's just a man who's completely lost, with the sun going down, a storm rolling in, and fuel running dangerously low. Time is running out.
And this is the moment that really seals their fate. Ground control tries to give them a lifeline. They tell them to switch to an emergency radio channel, which could have given them a stronger signal to get a fix on their position. But the flight leader? He's just so consumed by stress that he refuses. He's afraid of losing radio contact with his own men, and in doing so, he cuts them all off from the outside world.
This final, chilling transmission, it reveals their grim plan. They're out of fuel, they're out of options, and they're completely out of time. So they're going to ditch their planes in the rough seas, all at the same time. This wasn't some mysterious vanishing act. It was a planned, last-ditch effort to survive.
So when you put all the actual pieces together, the whole supernatural mystery just kind of melts away. And what you're left with is a tragic story of human error.
This is the real story. It starts with a broken compass, a simple mechanical failure. But it's human psychology that turns that small problem into a total disaster. The flight leader gets disoriented, latches onto the wrong idea of where he is, and because of something called confirmation bias, he refuses to let it go. And since he's the one in charge, his one mistake ends up dooming them all.
And what about that rescue plane that disappeared? Well, that wasn't the Bermuda Triangle either. It turns out that specific model of plane had a terrible design flaw and was so prone to exploding that pilots had a nickname for it,
The flying gas tank. A nearby ship actually reported seeing it explode in a massive fireball. Just another tragic accident on an already tragic day.
So the legend of Flight 19 is really a ghost story. But the real story, it's a human tragedy. It's a story about how a simple mistake, when it's amplified by stress and confusion, can lead to absolute disaster. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other great mysteries out there are just human stories waiting for us to look past the myth and finally understand?